Hi, my name is Blair Glenn. I'm an ISA certified arborist. In 1992, I was called out to Blaney Plaza in downtown Saratoga by the city to look at a tree that was indeed toppling over. I've got a whole series of before and after pictures. This is a current picture that I just took today in 2008, and you can see the comparisons on how the trees have grown and some of the changes. It's pretty remarkable. The city was alerted to the problem by the post that's up against the trunk. The day before this happened, there was about 6 inches of airspace between that post and the wood on the trunk of the tree. I had to rapidly take off a lot of weight on the tree before it fell over. It was leaning and there was quite a gap underneath the root ball. I took off 7,000 pounds of branches per the weight at the scales at the dump. We also had to install a prop at the base of the tree to keep it stabilized. There's a close-up of there's like an electrical box that was vertical, and there was about 6 inches of airspace between, and it's pushing on it. That's back in 1992. And today you can see what's left of the stake there, and the trunk has gotten considerably larger. This is an interesting shot because not only do you see the changes in the buildings around there as well as the trees, but there's a liquid amber in the foreground that was fairly young at the time, and on the next picture you'll see how much it's grown. There's that liquid amber. It kind of dominates the whole picture now. That's where the Starbucks is downtown in Saratoga. The city has completely remodeled this whole area. It's entirely different. It was actually difficult to take some of these pictures because registering anything in the picture was difficult because everything looks different. And that's what it looks like today. We had to mount this A-frame structure up solidly against the trunk of the tree, and I put 2 big threaded lag screws in there to stabilize it and a through rod. And 16 years later, it's still in there solidly, and it's interesting to see the growth of the bark, the cambium, enveloping these posts. This is the other adjacent stone pine. The sign is no longer there. Lots of changes, but the tree looks fairly similar. It hasn't changed a whole lot. It's probably maybe 2 to 3 inches in diameter bigger than it was 16 years ago. There's a good shot. You can see exactly how much we had to take off to reduce the weight. We took off so many branches, but amazingly it's filled in. And there we are today. It's kind of interesting that brick building over there is, if it's still brick, it's been painted over. It's kind of a shame, and there's the corner lot where the Starbucks is today. Lots of changes, lots of changes. It was a very rainy day when this tree started to topple, and the root ball was thoroughly saturated. The winds came along, and the weight and everything combined caused the entire root ball to start lifting. It was so raised in one area that I was able to put my arm up underneath the root ball, and we were in panic mode. And that's about as close as I could get to the same picture. The archway is a new addition that used to be located across the street. And there's what the post looked like in 1992. And now there are bushes in front of it. As far as I am aware, I have been told that these trees were planted in 1918. There's a few assorted large Italian stone pines in Saratoga. There's one over at the Lutheran Church over on the left-hand side on Saratoga Avenue. It's an enormous tree. And there was one over behind the library out in the orchard, which failed a few years ago. But I believe they were all planted about the same time in 1918. These are real landmark trees that bring us to the entrance of Saratoga, downtown Saratoga, and it's it's something that we really need to consider preserving. We have to do the best we can for these trees. We have to maintain the growing space to the best of our ability, but we also have to monitor these trees to make sure we don't have any weaknesses developing, cracking limbs, anything that could disfigure the tree would just be devastating. Well, thanks for taking the time to view this brief presentation, a little bit of a historical overview of part of Saratoga. Once again, my name is Blair Glenn, and I am an ISA certified arborist.